You're watching a presentation of MAC Women's Lacrosse as this afternoon, as we start the final week of regular season play, Manhattan travels up north to take on Fairfield. Hello everybody, I'm JJ Duke. Thanks for spending your Wednesday here with us at Rafferty Stadium on the campus of Fairfield University. As we said, it's the business end of the season right now. The MAC standings look like this. Fairfield and Manhattan currently holding spots 5 and 6 of the last 2 spots that would head to the tournament. However, a win for either team today pretty much guarantees a postseason berth, while a loss means that there's going to be a frenetic finish on Saturday and Sunday. Take a look at our players to watch for in this game. First, for Manhattan, it's Grace Laponer, an outstanding attacker for the Jaspers, who's setting records left, right, and center. Already amongst the league leaders in a number of categories, including points per game and goals per game. She most recently set the program career points record and is only 5 goals away from tying the single season record. Speaking of goals for Fairfield, Elizabeth Toludo has been steady throughout this season as the junior out of Westchester, Pennsylvania is currently the team leader in goals with 36. She scored 26 total points in MAC play, including an impressive performance against both Quinnipiac and Iona, along with Siena, as she registered 5 or more points in all 3 of those games. All-time history between these two teams, Fairfield a healthy advantage, including 15 straight wins since 2007. These two teams had a home-and-home last year, with the Stags winning both of those games, including that 15-11 scoreline right here at Rafferty Stadium. Opening draw coming up next as you're watching MAC Women's Lacrosse on ESPN+. Welcome back here to Rafferty Stadium, moments away from the opening draw between Fairfield and Manhattan. You're looking at this Jasper team right now, who is in the midst of a little bit of a tough patch in their season. They started off really well, actually, winning 3 of their first 4 league games, and then back-to-back losses, one of those being a crucial one to their local rival Iona. So they know that not only a win has to happen today for them to get into the postseason, but a loss for Iona, who's taken on Quinnipiac. Meanwhile, for Fairfield and Casey Collins, the rest of her crew, as you're looking at Ashley Gambardella, the starting goalie for Manhattan, Collins and the rest of her goalkeeping unit for Fairfield have a really tough go of it over the last 2 weeks. It has not been easy for Stags goalies, including giving up what was a program record most goals allowed in a game at home to Monmouth a week ago today with 21. It was a 1-goal thriller up in Niagara on Saturday for the Stags. Fairfield came back down 2 inside the last 2 minutes to tie it. Belows Garlow sank the winner in overtime for the Purple Eagles. So Fairfield know that they need to win today. That would guarantee them a berth in the conference tournament and a spot no lower than 5th. Fairfield in their home whites going from right to left. Manhattan in the road green jerseys going from left to right. And it's Nicolette Lavista who wins the opening draw, as Lavista checked into today 3rd most in league action with 5.1 draws per contest. And Fairfield will get the opening look here. We'll set the lineups for you. Offensive-wise for the Stags, Libby Rowe wears 3. Here she is on the near side. She's joined with Olivia Duty, 14, Ellie Greffenstedt, 34, Elizabeth Toludo, we highlighted her at the top of the show. She wears 30. Kelly Horning wears 17, and Riley Harrell, 45. This Manhattan team, they're always stout defensively. They allow a league best 11.7 goals per game. Fairfield score them at about 14 per contest. Rowe in the 1v1 draws a slide. That's what Manhattan is known for. But Harrell, great dodge, and she'll draw shooting space. Good patience by Fairfield to wait for the slide to come out and find the open receiver. And now Harrell, who's lethal from the 8-meter, a chance to give her team the lead. And she will. She gets, no, they're going to call a crease violation as she stepped in there, even though she put the ball in the back of the net. Thought there was a little nudge, but our far side official says Harrell was in there early, so no goal, we go the other way. Our referees for today is led by Jennifer Morrison. She's assisted by Jen Holland and Gloria Grider. Fairfield, though, causing chaos in their riding game. However, that pass gets all the way through, and Megan Rodino will recover. Now, obviously, a lot of the offensive attention is going to go to Grace Laponer, who wears number 10. Rodino, though, a solid number 2 scorer. She wears 22. She's got 42 points on the season. She's joined by Reagan Mullins 4, Annie Freshour 3. We'll get the others in a moment as Mullins has her shot blocked on the way through, and the ground ball taken by Lindsey Barnes. So both teams trading stops here as Harrell asks for it on the clear. Manhattan forced turnovers on clears about 12% of the time. And Harrell, the product out of Newtown, Connecticut, will gain the clear, and the Stags third best in the league at clearing at 89%. This is definitely going to be one of those defensive, grinded-out type games. It's not going to be pretty on the eye at times, but especially for Manhattan, that's how they thrive. They want to keep it around 10, 11 goals. Kelly Horning still going on. Gets through a crowd there inside the 8 and flips it back to Libby Rowe, trying to gain the edge on the outside. She's closed down, pass in the middle for Toludo, who rides a challenge, and it will be a foul. Good balance there by Toludo. However, Greffenstedt, no, it's going to be Toludo at the hanging hash mark. Wouldn't be surprised to see Fairfield have Toludo look to go straight for goal, as Harrell already had one wiped off the board on a free position, but instead Toludo will just reload. Rowe able to get the edge. That's comfortable for Gambardella, and there's a little action right on top of the crease as Greffenstedt and Duty nearly got their sticks onto it, but Gambardella makes a save. Ashley comes into today with 11.85 goals against, which leads the league, and a save percentage of 44, which is third best. It's probably going to be between her and Michelle Messenger of Niagara to get the goalie of the year nod. Messenger on Saturday against Fairfield was solid, as she always is. The Purple Eagles goalie stopped 13 and really made a couple of key saves down the stretch to keep Niagara then at 2 goals up in front. Manhattan will get it across here. Post to post on the pass, goes all the way through. Manhattan, 2 possessions without a shot, and Caroline Mangan able to pick up the ground ball. Not a great pass, though, from Casey Collins, as both Mangan and Barnes trying to recover. That ball will just stay in. We play the black lines here at Rafferty Stadium. Fairfield making a meal of it on the clear thus far. Foul against Manhattan as Megan Rodino knocks down Mangan. And already 30 seconds have gone off this clear. Now, unlike in the men's game where you have 20 seconds to get it across in the clear, you can take as much time as you want, but you limit yourself the chance to go forward on the attack, and Fairfield have 45 seconds left in this possession. Duty throws it out in front. Greffenstedt hits the pipe. Well, that looked like it hit the crossbar there. Referee says play on. Harrell gets just plowed through from behind, and it will be a free position. Now, I think the ref missed that one, as it looked like that close chance from Greffenstedt hit the iron, but now Harrell has a free position. Fairfield already the third look from the 8-meter. 1 goal wiped away early, but Harrell drops, releases, and it was blocked. Great step in, and that's also due to anticipation, knowing that Harrell likes to take the quick release, and the job was done there by Andrea Leota, number 20, and a chance now for Reagan Mullins on the counter. It's 4-on-3 for Manhattan. Laponer scores. Beautiful transition goal there from Manhattan. It starts with the deflection by Leota and finishes with the leading goal scorer in Grace Laponer. Beautiful ball movement there, and Laponer just waiting And eventually caught and scored. And now Laponer, 52 goals this season. She's got 78 points on the year. And now only just a handful of goals away, needs 4 to tie the program single season record, which was Lori Graham, set it with 56 back in 1997. Graham, one of the best players in Manhattan program history. But her mark has already been bested by Laponer with career points, who's now at 164. Fairfield will be ruining those couple of chances that were missed. Free position that was wiped off the board, and then Harrell not able to get the free position off quickly. And now Manhattan against a Fairfield team that gets streaky at the draw. They can win them quickly, but on other days they can be just outclassed. We saw that against Monmouth this time last week, where the Hawks won 26 draw controls. And the referee is going to reset and ask for it again. The thing that you'll see with Nicolette LaVista on the right side of your picture there, she will wait to the last second. What she's doing now is she's just surveying the field. She's going to bark out orders of where she wants the players to be on the circle. And it's just the slightest of movements that she'll make at the last second before the release. And that's where the draw will come. And see, she puts everybody off to one side of the circle, and then a little quick flick of the wrist. Plays it to herself just behind her, and Fairfield gets possession back. And that takes a lot of work and a lot of diligence in practice. But now can Fairfield cash in on winning this draw as Greffenstedt looking for Kelly Horning, and Horning gets denied. That's a good feed. No, the referee's going to bring this back, though. It's going to be free position for Fairfield, saying that there was contact before the shot. It's a break for Fairfield, and Kelly Horning, who scored the game tire against Niagara on Saturday, will look to try and level things here. Horning already with 30 goals this season. She's only just scored 20 free position goals in her career, but has 137 goals in a Stags jersey. But trying to tie it here at 1, and Horning, she does just that. The Manhattan fans very vocal down below where I am. Not really pleased by that call, but Fairfield get the opener. And also saying that Horning might have left a little early. And you know what? Looking at that replay, timing the whistle, I guess is the way that you call it. But Kelly, a veteran, of course, a grad student out of Laytonsville, Maryland. Last year, MAC midfielder of the year and multi-time first-team all-conference member. This is her 70th career game with Fairfield Women's Lacrosse. And really has just done it all. A player that's already #1 in the record books for career ground balls and caused turnovers. Actually came into today tied with Nicolette LaVista for 4th all-time in draw controls. LaVista will probably power by her just purely for the fact that she'll win about 5 or 6 of them on her own. Horning also now 2 goals away from tied for 4th in program career history for goals. 1-1 here, 9:40 left to go. And a missed draw. It will be possession going to Fairfield, saying that number 15, Claire McCooey, freshman from Ridgewood, New Jersey, went early, and the Stags now chance to go 2 for 0. Fairfield have gotten to the free position a lot here. However, that pass doesn't get through, and Olivia Duty commits the foul. Head contact to Juliana Iovine, and Manhattan will clear. Fairfield will look for that quick low to high, just catch and release in one motion type of shot. One has been denied by Gambardell, and then just that attempt there. But here comes the Stags on the ride. Hannah Cleary trying to get through, which she does, the junior from Rockville Center, New York. And she finds an outlet in Juliana Iovine. The Jaspers, who saw in their last game against Siena on Saturday, the Saints put up 19 on them, only just scoring 9 goals. They said this is a team that relies having games being played about 10, 9, 11, 10, using their defense to great effect as that shot goes wide. Almost hit Sophie Grazioli, the Fairfield defender, on the way through. Still plenty of time, though, for Laponer to reload. Kayla Bay draws that assignment. Another veteran defender that Fairfield has to offer. Probably likely going to garner some sort of all-league accolades this year. But she has the job of trying to keep Laponer quiet. The number 10 for Manhattan's going to get goals. Just going to be a question of how many. Great double team, though, as Rigolizzo knocks that ball loose. It will stay in. With 7 seconds, though, it's just got to be a quick release on goal. Iovine with 3, Laponer with 1, and that's a shot clock violation as that did not come off in time. Good stop there by Fairfield defensively. Now, the Stags very slow, actually, in their substitution game right now, forcing Mangan to basically try and do it on her own. Grazioli will find an option. And Fairfield, after taking a little bit of time in their last 2 clears, successfully get it across. Pass halfway gone in this first quarter. J.J. Duke with you from Rafferty Stadium on the campus of Fairfield University. Again, this is pretty much a must-win game for both of these teams if they want to be playing postseason lacrosse in the MAC tournament, the quarterfinal round. And neither of these teams can really get above 4th or 5th place. They will be playing the quarters, which would be 1 week from Saturday. A foul against Ellie Greffenstedt in transition. We'll see Leota reload, but she throws it right out of play. And that is one of the problems, actually, for Manhattan. They are 3rd from bottom in the league at nearly 16 turnovers per game. And you can't have unforced turnovers, especially when you've forced a lot of them defensively. So they've done the back-end job right, but you have to clear the ball. Just simple passes off of fouls. Can't just be throwing the ball out of bounds. I know that head coach Jenna Dingler will tell her group that as soon as she has the opportunity to do so. Fairfield have had a lot of the offense here in this first quarter. Again, just the one Kelly Horning free position goal to show for it. Comes all the way back to Rowe. Libby flips it off. Horning right in front to Amanda Kozak, and it's a good save. And Manhattan able to get the ground ball. Outstanding work there by Rodino. No, excuse me, that's Gianna Skoronsky. But Fairfield win it right back. Give another save there to Gambardella, who now has 2. The Stags have created a number of really good looks. I think Laura Field, the head coach for Fairfield, will be happy about the looks that her team is getting, but finishing the job has not been there thus far. Elizabeth Toludo has to be a driving force today for the Stags. She's able to dodge a couple and another save for Gambardella. Good work again by Toludo. And you know, when you go against such a tough defense and Manhattan offers, you know, a lot of the effort just kind of gets sucked right out of you when you're just trying to beat through 6, 7 different players, and all of a sudden you've got a great goalie behind you. Obviously, Fairfield realized that when they played Niagara on Saturday with Messenger. But it's another challenge with Gambardella in net. As Laponer works it back now to Ashley Bonich, freshman from Miller Place, New York. Now Mullins. Manhattan's last offensive possession resulted in a shot clock violation. Bonich gets fouled. She lost the handle, but Caroline Mangan was called for the infraction. This is not a free position effort, though. It's going to be at the hanging hash mark. Bonich with 4 goals this season, but last scored in non-league action against LIU back on March the 19th. Post to post, and it was read well. Good job by Kelly Horning intercepting that pass. And a long touchdown pass ahead towards Toludo finds its mark. And Fairfield, maybe one way to break Manhattan's defense is try and run in transition. It's 3-on-4 right now. Greffenstedt waiting for numbers. Outstanding work, though, by Gianna Skoronsky to close her down. Nothing given there for Fairfield. Moving quick. So once again, they'll reload in the half-field offense. Toludo, who's denied in the last opportunity, flips to Kozak, who scores. Fairfield take a 2-1 lead as Amanda Kozak gets the goal. That's her 25th of the season, and the Stags will be up with 3:37 left in the quarter. Back in a moment, much more coming to you after this, here on ESPN+.
Quiet on set, stand by.
It's been tough for Fairfield thus far. It's a brick wall in the back with Ashley Gambardella, the Jaspers goalie, but nice little flip from Elizabeth Toledo to unlock Amanda Kozak, and Fairfield with a 2-1 lead as Kozak, the best shooter percentage-wise in this conference, currently operating at 53%. Got a great little feed from Toledo, and the Stags their first advantage of the afternoon. Kozak, a player that really was given this opportunity this year to show what she's can bring to the table and has not passed up on this chance. A player that did not see action at all a season ago. Laura Field told me earlier this season that you're really excited for a number of players to get their opportunity this year. As last season, veteran squad, not too many holes to patch up. The Stags needed to replace 5 starters from last season. And Kozak just taking the opportunity and running with it. 25 goals. Fairfield right on the edge right now of having 7 different players register 30 points this season. They're going to have 8 total that will reach double-digit points. All of which, including Maggie Fort, who's currently sitting on 14, may have a chance to get above 20 this year. But it is a 7-headed attacking monster that the Stags have to offer, led by Toledo, who's 1 point away from 50 on the season. It's a long draw to the far side of the field that Riley Harrell will pick it up. Harrell, one of those top scorers. After last season, despite getting all rookie team accolades, just had 3 points. This year up to 37. Stags able to get it across after winning the draw. Again, Manhattan relentless in their pursuit of the ball anytime it's on the ground. But once again, Fairfield, they had the majority of the offense here in this first quarter. We'll run in the half-field set. The goal scorers for the Stags, Horning and Kozak. It's thrown out in front for Toledo, but not able to take that pass cleanly. And it's a foul against Toledo. Possession back to the Jaspers. You wonder if Laura Field might not be in this half, but it might be in the second half where she'll look to speed the game up a little bit. Because once the game gets into the half-field set, Manhattan is as tough as any that they've faced this season to try and break them down. That's saying something where Fairfield have played 2 ranked teams this year in Ncaa and Denver. Manhattan just, they don't give much space on the field to work with when they're set defensively. Pass in the middle is a decent one, but Rodino took the angle away as Reagan Mullins timed that pass up well. Laponer was asking for in the middle. That's going to be a matchup to watch all day. It's senior on senior. Laponer, 10 in green, versus Kayla Bay, 6 in white. But Lindsey Barnes comes away at the ground ball. Fairfield have excelled defensively to start. Sure, one shot for the Jaspers have led to a goal, but outside of that, it's been turnover after turnover or a shot clock violation. It's numbers now for Fairfield as Rowe drive forward, flips it to Toledo, who scores! And that's more like it for Fairfield. They want to find those pockets that they haven't gotten thus far. It's got to be on the move. And the Stags cash in here as Rowe does really well to draw the double team, and then Toledo just puts that one home. And give Elizabeth Toledo her 50th point of the season. A player who's in the top 10 in the league in goals and points per game and total points. You know, a player that shone brightest in the playoffs last year. All 5 of her points came in either the semifinals or the finals of the MAC tournament. Didn't feature at all really in the regular season, but Toledo, just like that, has registered the half century. It's just game 15. Stags have won all 4 draws thus far. There's a 16-second differential between game and shot clock here in this first quarter. So you assume that there will be at least 1 full and then a slight second possession. Fairfield have to be very pleased with the fact that they have dominated this part of the game from the beginning. And they're going to get 1 more as Maggie Fort will get it. Fort, the junior midfielder from New York City. Her 14th draw control, equaling the amount of points that she's gotten this year. Same can be said for ground balls. Just steady performer. Nothing flashy, but steady. Toledo flips in the middle towards Fort. Olivia Duty at X. Stags do not need to rush this possession here, but they get a good look by Kozak, and it's a better save. Gambardella made herself big there to take away the angle. And now Manhattan, if they can clear successfully, can hold for the last. And this would be big for their confidence here if they can transition and get a goal, because they've had good looks when they've gotten shots off. It just hasn't found its way into the back of the cage. They have committed 6 turnovers, and 4 of which have been in the offensive third of the field. That also doesn't include the shot clock violation that they had as well. Rodino dodging. Good covering, though, by Lindsey Barnes. Under 30 seconds on the game clock as Reagan Mullins, great roll dodge, looking for someone who's not there. Good covering. Leponer works it back out. 18 seconds. That shot goes wide of the mark. And it'll be a free position coming as Mullins got hit. Mullins, the 5'1" junior from Islip, New York. A chance here to get it to a 1-goal game. Mullins, 7 of 13 on free position. Dodges everybody, but Collins comes up with the save. And now Fairfield can run. They've got 10 seconds left here. Caroline Mangan quickly ahead. Greffenstedt with 5 on the clock. Rowe with 3, throws it in front, and that will do it. It was a handcuffing pass to Olivia Duty. Fairfield, though, showing good signs in transitional play. However, after 15 minutes in the book, Fairfield leads by 3-1. Back in a moment, you're watching MAC Women's Lacrosse on ESPN+.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
So that's a big crash!
15 minutes in the book here. Jenna Dingler in her 3rd season with Manhattan, trying to revitalize her troops here, see if they can get something of it in this second quarter. They didn't have too many looks offensively, did get a shot on target late after their early goal. Meanwhile, for Laura Field, I mean, it's been one of those mixed bag type seasons, but she is hoping that pedigree, along with kind of that extra little fight out of this group, will get them to the finish line, and that finish line would be their 4th consecutive MAC championship. The Stags, though, have put themselves in a scenario that they know that even if they get to the postseason, they're going to have to play 3 games. They're not going to get a top 2 due to the 3 consecutive losses to the 3 teams that are ahead of them in Siena, Monmouth, and Niagara. That's going to be a tough, tough monster to get through in postseason action. But Fairfield know that a win today plus a win against Canisius on Saturday would net them a home quarterfinal matchup. There is one outlier scenario with some tiebreakers involved, but we're not going to deal with that right now. What we are going to deal with is Fairfield winning another draw control. That is 6 in a row for the Stags. Again, the last time we saw Fairfield at this facility a week ago against Monmouth, they gave up 26. But they're hoping for the amount of draws that they've won thus far. It's got to be more goals. Libby Rowe trying to change that, met by the double. Flips back to Kelly Horning. Again, covered up well. Julie Rosica able to cut the angle down. Ellie Greffenstedt trying to play the 1- and 2-player game with Olivia Duty. Now Greffenstedt flips back to Duty. Nothing on there. Skaronski closes her down. That pass too strong for Greffenstedt, and the Stags will reload. Trying to run a lot of set plays for Fairfield, but again, when you have such a tough defense to get through, you might have to rely on that. That pass goes all the way through from Toledo. Great step up by Iovine, who wears number 9, and forces Fairfield's 7th turnover of the game. Not a good pass, though, out of the back here, allowing Fairfield to step up a little higher in their ride. And it's a few times now that Hannah Cleary's had to clear under duress. But Rosica able to do the job. Now Grace Laponer, the lone goal scorer for the Jaspers, will carry on forward. Laponer dodging, trying to draw a whistle there. It's not on. Grace this year, though, just makes up 31% of the offense on her own. That's the 78 points that she now has. But between her and Megan Rodino, who has 42 points on the year, they make up almost half of the offense. It's 48%. Rounding up, it would be closer to 49. So Fairfield knows that they keep one of those two quiet. It would be a good day. However, a foul against the Stags. We'll see Rodino go to the 8-meter. Kind of unlucky there for Maggie Ford after Fairfield forced the turnover. The stick got caught up around the shoes, and Rodino, the senior from Natick, Mass, just 3 of 13 on free position, though, has a good opportunity. Rodino drives in, puts it wide. Possession stays, though, with Manhattan on the backup. Still 30 seconds left. And yeah, Rodino didn't look all that comfortable taking that shot there. Defense was about average time to close her down, but put that one high and wide. Flip to Freshour. Good roll dodge. Freshour misfires, and Fairfield come away with the stop. And a foul. It's going to be absorbed by Rigolizzo, and we will go the other way. Well, thus far, not a whole lot of traffic towards Casey Collins in goal. Fairfield, this is the 3rd different goalie that they've used this season, as Liv Conquest picked up a preseason injury, came back a couple of games ago, and then you had Phoebe Proctor, who picked up an injury a couple of games into the season, ruled out for the rest of the year. Collins, who had hardly played in her career up until seeing a start against Boston University on February the 23rd. She's been in and out of the lineup as the Stags are still trying to search for that consistency. Laura Field has always said, always confident in whatever goalie she runs out there, but also hoping that one of them kind of starts to stand out a little bit at this time. She never really likes having that difficult task of picking on the day or even having to replace a goalie mid-game. This is, of course, a former goalie in her own right at Princeton. Pass in the middle is a good one, and Kozak puts it in. Great ball movement there from Fairfield as Duty with the assist, and Kozak gives Fairfield a 3-goal lead. Amanda Kozak. Again, another, as I said, another one of those players that you weren't, from the neutral perspective, thinking that was going to be a big scorer this year, but Kozak now with another multi-goal game. She's had 3 or more goals now on 9 different occasions this season. And that's consistency there. I mean, this is game 15, and 2/3 of those games she's putting up at least 2 goals a contest. One of those pure out-and-out finishers. Only has 3 assists this season, but 26 goals. And the Stags are starting to find some seams now. Can you still feel like their best route for success is going to be playing fast in transition? But a lot of that would involve being on defense and then getting the stops and going and scoring as Kelly Horning picks up the draw. Fairfield's still perfect in that aspect. They've won all 7 draws taken. La Vista has 3, Fort with 2 to lead the way for the Stags. Harrell and Horning each with 1. Greffenstedt surveying, has Horning in the middle. Boy, half second sooner might have had that pass. Duty looking for Toledo, wide open, she scores! Stags are rolling right now as Toledo gets on the score sheet, and Fairfield, that is 5 straight. And just all of a sudden the pocket opened up there for Toledo, who said in the onset that she would be a big factor for Fairfield offensively. It's the days that she goes quiet that the rest of the offense kind of takes a while to get going. Toledo has gone as many as 7 goals in a game this year against Quinnipiac, 5 against Holy Cross. She had 5 against Siena as well. That was her 21st goal in just MAC contests. Duty now with 2 assists, give her 20 on the season. She came in tied for 8th with both total assists and assists per game in the conference. Manhattan need to win a draw right now. You don't want to give up 7 in a row to start a game. That's where sport is a confidence game at times. That will breed success. And it starts at the start. And now Manhattan win their first. Let's see if they can get something from it here as Andrea Liotta wins it. Maybe for the Jaspers just to try and give their defense a little breather, as they've been on their heels for pretty much the entire game. Fairfield had a lot of long offensive sequences. And defensively, the Stags have only seen 5 shots go against them. Laponer driving on top of the crease and scores. Grace Laponer, 2nd of the afternoon, and stops that 5-goal run for the Stags. Just doing what she does, gets to good scoring areas and puts them away. Got right past Kayla Bay and waited for the goalie to make her move. And that just shows, again, someone that's so patient. The game slows down for her, really. And someone that's going to put up that amount of volume of shots. She's had 112, including the 2 goals that she's had today, which is by far one of the best and the most in this league. Averages 7.5 shots per game. And she's not one of those players that's going to wait for the system and have the system run to her. No, she is the system. She's going to get the ball, and she's going to make things happen, whether it's for herself or for other players. It's a low draw behind the takers, and La Vista will win it. That is her 4th of the day. And La Vista averages 5 per contest. And Rowe able to gain the offensive zone. Wasn't a clear there for Fairfield. The Stags trying to stop what was that 1-goal stopper of their 5 from Manhattan. Greffenstedt waiting patiently. A reload comes to Harrell, now into Ludo, and the 1v1 here. Slide comes, Horning asks for in the middle. Duty. Not access given to the crease. 4 in the middle for Greffenstedt. Turns, shoots over the bar, and the race to the backup will be won by the Jaspers. It took a while for that shot to come from Greffenstedt, and Fairfield had no one behind to protect the backup. And Manhattan will, well, they won that race easily. Now Ncaa will find the clear. And in isolation quickly with Laponer against Caleb A. Good communication on the slide, though, as Manging comes over to help out. Again, just slows things up for a minute. A second, really, as McPherson will help it on. And now, or excuse me, that was Jillian Reiner, number 8. Now Manhattan will run their half field. Pass in the middle. It's Ava Fernandez, number 19, a freshman from Jefferson Station, New York. Great read there from Grazioli to knock it down. Sophie Grazioli, number 37. Read that pass perfectly. Riley Harrell is just going to scamper by everybody. And again, Fairfield can run here. They do have numbers. A 5-on-4. Toludo with time. Toludo driving, puts it wide. But that's fine if you're Fairfield. You generated the unsettled situation. This play is stopped due to an extra ball coming onto the field. But you got that unsettled situation. That's fine. Even if you missed the shot, you had the backup there. Because once Manhattan gets set in their half-field defense, they're tough to break down. Greffenstedt asking for in the middle. Turns, shoots, and scores! Didn't work for her on the last one, but Ellie Greffenstedt gets it to go, and the Stags regain their 4-goal lead. And the senior from Pittsburgh does well to pivot, turn, and fire. And that was goal number 20 for her on the season. Ellie, who a year ago put up a solid 36-point campaign in the dozen or so games that she played, just kind of kept rolling along. Another one of those players that it's never flashy about her game, but it's just consistent. She's going to be patient as kind of the second feeder with Olivia Duty, and she's going to get her fair share of looks as well as a shooter. And she's on the edge now of a 20-goal, 20-assist season. She's got the 20 goals locked up, now just 2 assists away from 20. Deanna DeVita did that last year for Fairfield with 22 goals and 22 assists. Manhattan have the beat on the draw, losing it almost for a moment there was Fernandez, but she recovers. Just Ava Fernandez's second draw control of the season. Someone that's only played in 8 games coming into today. Oh, great dodge. Chance for Laponer. Puts it over the bar. We're going to wave that off, though. Is this going to be a yellow card? It is. A yellow card has been assessed to Manhattan, and I believe it's going to be Grace Laponer for the dangerous release. And now Fairfield, for the first time this afternoon, will go on the woman up. So we'll reset the shot clock full to 90 with 7:40 left to go.
A yellow card has been assessed to Manhattan.
And now the Stags a chance to, well, if they can get the clear first, try to look to get their first 5-goal lead of the afternoon. Up 5-1 and 6-2 here in the second period. Bit of a risky pass that from Bay, but it is going to get all the way through to Greffenstedt. That is certainly one way to clear. And the Stags will now go to work on offense. And 7 versus 6 in the woman up opportunity. Toludo and Kozak playing pitch and catch. Kozak dodging. Pass to GLE. Rowe didn't like it. That's what Fairfield needs to do in this situation, not force it. Let the game come to them. Toludo. Pass in the middle to Duty, who scores. Olivia Duty, and that's part of the game she's been working on over the last couple of weeks, being more prolific and being more aggressive out in front, but she gets the goal. Fairfield lead now 7-2 with 7:02 left in the second.
Sports have always motivated me to dig deep within and find my inner self. To begin every journey with hope and continue it with that same unrelenting passion. They've taught me to always go beyond my limits, to compete among the best. And when you're faced with a challenge, knock down that barrier. They've made me a part of something bigger than myself, coming together as one to fight for a common goal. And now, it's given me a chance to spread that message. To those of you with the same journey, have fun, look within yourself, and always have a dream. Because when you succeed, and that journey looks complete, you'll remember all those incredible, beautiful, and cherished moments of being a female student athlete.
Olivia Duty wanted to get on the action on this woman-up opportunity for Fairfield. She was at X right before this pass and then just flashed to the top of the crease in the right time. And Fairfield now lead by 7-2 here with 7:02 left to go in the second quarter. Fairfield lacrosse flag flying high, and the positivity is certainly there on that Stags bench right now. They know that this game is pretty much a must-win for Fairfield. They want to stop this 3-game losing streak, which is only the second time in program history that they've lost 3 games in a row to league opponents. The only other time that that has happened was in 2005, where Fairfield lost games to Marist, Lemoyne, who are currently a Division II program, and Siena. And this is going to be the 4th time in program history that they've lost 3 or more league games in one season. Most being 5 in that 2005 campaign. That's, we're talking about those numbers. It's kind of almost astonishing for Fairfield women's lacrosse perspective, but that just speaks volumes to how consistent this team has been since its inception. Program that came into today winning 81% of their league regular season games. 138 wins, 31 losses. But right now they're in a battle here. Grace Laponer goes at X. Just took that yellow card, remember. That would be a big one if Manhattan were to lose her if she picks up a second one. So probably has to be a little bit more cautious here. Great read by Rigolizzo to anticipate that pass. Key ground ball for the Stags. And Rigolizzo trying to push tempo here. They don't have as many numbers, but Toledo's going to carry it across. It's 4-on-4 right now. Toledo, great roll dodge, shoots! Save Gambardella. Oh, wow. Toledo put the defender on skates there, going off to her left. But still, Gambardella, not being fooled by the moves, comes up with the stop. Anticipated by Horning, and Fairfield will get it back. It wasn't a clean knock away, but the receiver of the pass, Ava Fernandez, not able to take it cleanly. And now the Stags will once again settle in the offense. So we mentioned this is the last week of the regular season. 2 other games going on today. Quinnipiac and Iona, Canisius at Marist, and both of those games actually have big complications for these 2 teams on the field. Manhattan actually need Iona to lose that game to Quinnipiac, because Iona have the head-to-head tiebreaker on the Jaspers by way of a 12-11 victory last Wednesday. Fairfield play Canisius on Saturday as Rowe has that shot knocked down on the way through, and it'll be covered up by Gambardella. Because Fairfield know if they win today, beat Canisius on Saturday, then they would be in a tie if Canisius were to win today, as that pass batted away by Maggie Fort, and the Stags will take possession back. There isn't an outlier. Fairfield would win both of their games, and Niagara would beat Siena, there would be a big logjam. More on that in a moment as Horning passes near side. Rowe bides her time. Might have not been the best option there as Manhattan does really well to slide late. Rowe goes straight to goal. She has an opportunity. But a Canisius lost to Marist today, and a Fairfield win would set up basically a winner on Saturday between the Golden Griffins and the Stags, who would then host each other next week in the quarterfinals. Pass in the middle, Horning. That one pops over the crossbar. Oh, and a great play there as Duty was anticipating the ball going out of bounds. It's Andrea Leota able to keep it alive. That's smart play there by Leota, the junior defender. That ball didn't have enough steam to get over the line. Instead of just settling to allow Fairfield to reload, just go and make a play. But Manhattan are having all sorts of issues clearing because that is their third failed clear in a row. But now a foul has been called against the Stags. So a break there for the Jaspers with 3:48 left in this quarter and the half. And can Manhattan make it count? They cannot as Rigolizzo with another play. She has been outstanding, Julia Rigolizzo, the sophomore from Pennsylvania. Credited with 2 ground balls, give her a second cause turnover as well. And can the Stags, be a bit ruthless in this scenario? Nearly gave away that last chance off the fouls. That pass is too tall for Amanda Kozak. And this is where we said that Fairfield want to get the game moving a little bit. But they themselves have been a little careless at times with the ball. They have committed 8 turnovers and a few more if it wasn't for their own players backing up missed passes. Duty flips in the middle, too tall for Toludo, but she recovers well as there's no defender with her. Horning. Pass in the middle to wide open Maggie Fort, who scores. But eventually Fairfield were finding the pockets, picking the seams, and someone had to put it home. Maggie Fort rising to the challenge there. And Fort gets another one. Beautiful finish going high to low. And that is her 10th goal of the season. Kelly Horning also getting a helper there. Rising up the charts just a little bit more. Came in today, it tied 17th in her career with assists. That was her 40th. Only now 2 away from jumping a few more spots. But more impressively for the Stags, a team that has been kind of in shambles in defense over the last couple of weeks. They're not needing to rely on their defense. A way to win is just by not giving up the ball and keep scoring. That's what they've done. Still a lot of lacrosse left to be played, however. But with 2:41 left and Fairfield dominating the draw, as La Vista just reaches right over Ashley Bonich. They're not giving up the ball, and they could really take this one. They can't take it right to halftime, but they could have this possession, maybe one more, and we'll get to the locker room team talk. That's a place right now that Manhattan desperately needs to get to. Pass to Toludo. Fairfield trying to lead their receivers, kind of like throwing post routes in football. Every pass just has a little bit too much, but the issue is for Manhattan, they're just not searching those ground balls, getting stops. On another day, those would all be turnovers. Duty trying to dodge through 3. She lost it, but again, another ground ball picked up by Fairfield. Kelly Horning gets there. Toludo, roll dodge, draws a double, flips to Horning. Good save by Gambardella. That's a big stop right there as Ashley now with 7 saves on the afternoon, but ripped that one away. Destined for the inside of the part of the far post. Gianna Skoronsky able to get past Riley Harrell. And now here's the real question for Manhattan. You haven't had success in the draw. So do you take this all the way down? There's about a 10 40 seconds left in the half, so Fairfield gained the clear. They'll have enough time. Fairfield allowing a lot of time to come off the clock. Here's Harrell getting hustled and hurried. But she's able to beat a couple of players. Harrell's got Kelly Horning in all sorts of space and finds it. And the Stags now can hold for the last. Down to 20 seconds here. Horning goes at X. She's looking at the big clock across the way, knows how much time there is. Harrell dodging. Down to 7 seconds. Harrell with 5 draws free position. That'll stop the clock with 4 seconds left. Boy, and Riley Harrell, a player that you want at 8 meters, a chance to give Fairfield one more goal before halftime. Harrell just wide, and that will do it for the first half. Tight chance there for Riley Harrell, but Fairfield will be certainly pleased by only allowing 2 goals in 30 minutes and netting 8. We step aside for halftime, be back in a few minutes for stats, highlights, and much more on ESPN+.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
Hi, I'm Elena, and a little thing I love about the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is the barbecue sauce. There's something in that sauce, when it meshes with the chicken and the bacon and the bread all together, I mean, it is like an explosion of flavor.
Hi, I'm Rashard, and a little thing I love about Chick-fil-A's mac and cheese is the cheesy goodness at the bottom. The way that it combines with the crispy baked layer at the top is like that added flavor, that extra jazz to it. Once the fork reaches my mouth, that's it.
Soul, heart, mind, body, and your vitals. One note. Ooh, that's dope.
Music is fluid as you create, recreate, reimagine, reinvent.
Yes.
Go into a quiet room, buckle your seatbelt, and get ready for this ride. Test 1, 2.
A 2-goal, 2-assist performance from Elizabeth Toludo in the first half, leading Fairfield to a 6-goal advantage against their rival from just down the road in Riverdale, New York. Much more to come here on ESPN Plus. When we come back, we'll have highlights and stats. Get you ready for the third quarter as you're watching MAC Women's Lacrosse on ESPN Plus.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
The BK $5 Your Way meal is here to make your choice easy and so tasty. Go straight to the Double Whopper Jr. with piping hot small fries, 4-piece crispy nuggets, and a refreshing small drink. Can you believe you get all this for only $5? The $5 Your Way meal, only at Burger King.
Grammarly adds confidence so you don't undermine your message. And offers rewrites so your ideas come through clearly. Try Grammarly today at Grammarly.com.
Black is not to be told.
It is to unfold.
Blackness in full and at home.
And at home. In the Nscape.
One app, one tap, so stacked. A whole lot of everything. Now that's facts. And man with the dunk, so ridiculous. Dribbling brilliance, just like Vinicius. Scores and stats make you wanna get that. It's only for everything. The ESPN app.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
The BK $5 Your Way meal is here to make your choice easy and so tasty. Go straight to the Double Whopper Junior with piping hot small fries, 4-piece crispy nuggets, and a refreshing small drink. Can you believe you get all this for only $5? The $5 Your Way meal, only at Burger King.
Moments away from the start of the second half here at Rafferty Stadium as Fairfield lead Manhattan by 8-2 on the strength of 2 goals each from Elizabeth Toludo and Amanda Kozak. As we take a look back at your first half highlights here, Manhattan started the game off strongly. Grace Laponer would get the first of her 2 goals, but that's it for Manhattan, just the 2 goals. Fairfield would then go on a 5-goal run to finish off the rest of the first quarter and 1 to start the second. There's a battle of the goalies, though. In amongst that is Casey Collins stopping 1, 7 for Ashley Gambardella. And then this is where the Stags would take over. The passing game, just unlocking those little pockets of space in the 8-meter. Olivia Duty, Libby Rowe, and Elizabeth Toludo, each with 2 assists, along with 1 to Kelly Horning. The other big stat thus far in this game would be the turnover game, the 14 for Manhattan. That's a big number. The draw is also heavily in favor of Fairfield at 9-3. Now, as we mentioned, this is not just the only game that's going on in MAC Women's Lacrosse. There are two others that are going on. Both have implications for teams playing in this game. The first one off to our left, Quinnipiac leading Iona 7-3 helps Manhattan because Iona has the tiebreaker on the Jaspers in case Manhattan loses today. Still have that one-game lead. However, if the Jaspers win today and Iona loses, then Manhattan will be in the playoffs. For Fairfield, they're getting a little bit of surprise help as Marist 4-4 against Canisius. The Red Foxes dead last in the league at 0-6. Canisius, all they need is a win and they are in. But the Golden Grips having problems. And Niagara Siena play tomorrow in a game that had to be moved back one day because Niagara hosted Louisville on Monday as Scott Teeter, the longtime former head coach at Canisius, taking a trip to a familiar site. And the Purple Eagles had to back all their games up this week. So they go Thursday, Sunday, and interestingly enough, Manhattan, they'll know everything in all the scenarios that they have going into that game because, well, they're the opponent for the Purple Eagles. So they'll know exactly what has to be done in order for them to get into the postseason. A team that were the 6th seed last year, lost in the quarterfinals. Their big years in 2019 where they went 11-6, 6-2 in the league. But they lost out in the quarterfinals with Samantha Mahalik of Marist, tied a MAC record with 11 goals in a game to lead the Red Foxes to a 1-goal win. Mahalik no longer with the Red Foxes. She has since graduated. There are plenty of players on this Manhattan team that were on the field that afternoon at Gaelic Park, their home facility. They're trying to get back to that stage and maybe go one step further. Fairfield in their home white jerseys going from right to left to begin this second half. As Nicolette LaVista had the draw, but it's batted towards Kelly Horning. And the draws have been big in favor of the Stags. They've won 10 of the 13 taken. And a big improvement from when we last saw them against Manhattan. Losing 26, or excuse me, to Monmouth, losing 26 in that game. But their settled offense has been a good spot. They've really done well when the game has gotten fast in transition and able to unlock bigger spaces against Manhattan. But so far, so good. Ellie Greffenstedt, thus she drew a whistle there as one referee in the far side went up, but we play on. Duty finds Libby Rowe. Quietly had 2 assists in that first half, and a free position will come. Rowe with those 2 assists, now up to 42 points on the season, but she's looking for goal number 27. Chance here from free position. Fairfield in the first half only had 2 chances from 8. They scored on 1 from Kelly Horning. Rowe puts it over the bar, and the backup will be to Fairfield. That's interesting there. It looked like number 5, Hannah Cleary, got there first. Nice pass to Kozak, and she scores. Amanda Kozak wraps up her hat trick, and Fairfield now lead 9-2. Bit of a controversial call that on the backup after the Rowe free position. We thought that Cleary won the race, but the referee pointed to Duty. And Duty, quick feed for her 3rd assist. And Kozak, again, she has been getting 2 or more goals every game pretty much. 2 out of every 3 that she's played this season. Now up to 27 goals this year, 30 total points. And a player that had to do a lot of sitting and waiting for the opportunity. And that's why when you get an opportunity, make the most of it. And that's why everyone's smiling over there, because Amanda has certainly done that and then some. As she is a big factor in this Fairfield offense. Again, the leader in the conference in shooting percentage. That ball gets batted back towards Riley Harrell, who didn't think she was going to be in on that draw control, but happily takes it as her second. Still has yet to factor on the scoring. Had a free position right at the end of the first half. Tight angle, though, for her shot. She put it wide. Would love to get in on the offense a little bit here. As Good defense, though, by Skaronski. Now they're going to call a hold. And the Manhattan fans who've traveled well up from Riverdale, they have voiced their disapprovals on many a call here this afternoon. And a few of those have been impactful moments whose Fairfield on those second chances have cashed in, including most recently on what I thought was going to be a clear backup for Manhattan, but it stayed with Fairfield. Toledo in front of Greffenstedt. She gets leveled on the way through, and it'll be a free position for the Stags. Bit of a dangerous pass leading Greffenstedt right into Leota, number 20 in green. But Ellie Greffenstedt, the senior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who's 0 for 4 on free position, has a chance here, 37 seconds left to go for goal. She will shoot and puts it wide. And it's kept in play as well, and Gambardella will reload. Good play by Juliana Iovine, number 9, to not take it, or not put it in the hands of the referee on the backup, just picked up the shot and kept playing on. Fairfield relentless on their ride, though. They have forced 5 turnovers on Manhattan clears. 4 of them have been caused. There was one for Manhattan where they just threw the ball right out of bounds. It came after a foul, but Greffenstedt wins it right back. And here comes the transition. It's 2-on-3 at the moment, but Toledo's got speed to burn. She gets slowed up for a moment, returns to Greffenstedt, back to Toledo. Is there the finish? There is! That transition deserved a goal, and Fairfield got it as Greffenstedt started it off, and Toledo finished it. Great passing from Fairfield, and Toledo just went a little flick of the wrist, turned it over, goes high-low. And the Stags now in full control as Jenna Dingler for Manhattan has to call timeout. We will take one as well as the Stags up to their largest lead of the day. It is by 8 goals, and Elizabeth Toledo getting now 5 points on the afternoon. Stags lead by 8. Stay with us here on ESPN+.
There's a lot to get involved in. Movie nights on campus, tons of service opportunities, President's Ball, Red Sea Madness.
Fairfield has provided me countless opportunities through clubs and activities and events to broaden my horizon.
You can drive 2 miles and you can be in a beautiful downtown area with a beach that's awesome. Take a train for an hour and then you'll be right in New York City.
I think a big part of growth within extracurriculars is building connections and forming lasting friendships.
There's so much that the campus provides for us to really optimize our student experience. It's really fantastic.
The Manhattan College Jaspers have had issues with their clear all afternoon. That is their 6th failed clear as Ellie Greffenstedt knocked it away. Found Elizabeth Toledo, slowed up a little bit. Good work by Gianna Skaronski. But then Fairfield found Toledo once again. Greffenstedt, who started the play, gets the dime. And now the Stags lead by 8, forcing Jenna Dingler to use an early timeout in this 3rd quarter. This is a Manhattan team, by the way. While they are 6th in the league in clearing at close to 86%, no team really has this many failed clears that are caused by turnovers in a game. Usually it's a couple errant passes in there. But no, Fairfield are just relentless when they don't have the ball. And I think Laura Field was really going to be looking for a response. Like I said, the last time that Fairfield lost 3 successive league games in a row was back in 2005. It's only the 2nd time that it's ever happened where Fairfield picked up their 3rd straight loss last Saturday to Niagara. Now, that was a 1-goal loss. The previous 2 were by quite considerable distance, losing 5 to Siena, just scoring 11 goals. And then that was Fairfield scoring 11. Then Monmouth scored 21 here. So she was looking for a response. And thus far, still a lot of game left here, of course, it's been good. A foul, though, gets called against Horning as Kenzie Kowitz, number 28, a freshman from Owings Mills, Maryland, a chance here from free position. Kowitz, who doesn't have a free position effort this year, will look to try and give her team a little shot of adrenaline. But Kowitz runs right into Caroline Mangan. And that Fairfield bench elated to the far side, making a lot of noise as well. Easy to do that, of course, when your team is up by 8 goals. Everything is positive. As Laponer, she gets cross-checked right through. Kayla Bay asking for offensive. And Harrell pointing to the official off camera there saying, well, kind of look at the dent that I've just received from Laponer, but it's going to be a free position now. And the player that scored the only 2 goals of the game thus far for Manhattan might have to completely shoulder the load down the stretch if Manhattan want any say in this game. It starts with the free position. Grace, saved by Casey Collins. And that's the difference for Fairfield that they were looking for. A week ago, that almost guaranteed goes in. And the reason why I say that is Fairfield have had this knack this year. If they give up the first goal on their first defensive possession, it just spirals downhill. Fairfield did that today. Laponer, first shot that she had for the team, she scored. But Collins has kind of restored order a little bit. That's only her second save. But in terms of allowing momentum to go back, that didn't happen because, of course, you get the stop. It's semantics a little bit and kind of footnotes in what's an 8-goal game at the moment. But those little plays can be magnified. And how a season hasn't gone completely to plan for Fairfield, still plenty of time for it to get to its final destination. Of course, with being their 4th consecutive league championship. It's the little moments. That ball gets batted away. Great defense. It'll pop back out to Lindsey Barnes, but she lost the handle of it. Megan Rodino will carry it forward. Not too many numbers at the moment for Manhattan, as they're not a team that runs in transition. They're very much get a stop defensively and then get set offensively. Low to high, that pass goes all the way through. Took a wicked deflection off the stick of Mangan. It hit Julia Fernandez on the way forward, and now we come back the other way. It is 4-on-4 for Libby Rowe. Has options to either side. Goes to Toludo. Great close down, though, by Rosica. Duty fires that in the middle towards Harrell, but that pass too strong for her. And we'll go back the other way. And again, now it's 4-on-4, but this time the advantage to the team wearing green. Again, Laponer goes underneath. That just shows again that this is not a team in Manhattan that likes it unsettled. They have to get into the Hatfield setup. And Fairfield will be perfectly fine to allow that. If you allow a goal, you just tip your hat and move on. But Manhattan need to get more possessions. When you're trailing by 8 with a lot, we're beyond halfway in this game, closing on halfway going in this 3rd quarter. And another turnover. This one by Jillian Reiner. Julia Rigolizzo having some issues corralling, but Rigolizzo's going to start the charge here. And now we've got numbers the other way. It's another 4-on-4. Turns onto a 4-on-5. Toludo. Yeah, that's smart there. You can hear the call from the Fairfield bench, just slowing down the run because the numbers were not right, nor were the system and the personnel. So Fairfield will just reset it. Comes back to Libby Rowe. 2 assists on the day. Still looking for her first goal. Grafenstedt at goal line extend. Pass in the middle is a good one to Kozak, and that one rockets back off. I'm not sure if it got to the goalie or if it hit the pipe. A crease violation anyways against Fairfield. We'll see the ball back over. I think that one might have hit post, Manhattan will not mind because they get the stop. Fairfield out shooting Manhattan. This is the other big one, 24-8. The Jaspers just haven't gotten looks. And when they created them, Fairfield have done something to stop it. Reagan Mullins. Oh, great dodge to the left. Mullins, again, misfires on the shot. That sums up the afternoon, unfortunately, for the Jaspers. That pass too tall for Rowe. Oh, little hockey move there, going from forehand to backhand to keep that possession. See that a lot, of course, in box lacrosse and the indoor variety. And that quick carpet surface that they play on. Greffenstedt. Your winner's well for Fairfield. Obviously, you want to keep tempo going, but knowing they can start to slow the game down and limit the amount of possessions for Manhattan, seeing that they haven't converted all that much, be wise for them to take some time every chance that they have. They do turn it over, however. For Laura Field, though, she knows that even with the success that her team has had here in this game, especially in the defensive front, far too many turnovers that have been unforced. And even on some of the passes that have not been caught initially by Fairfield in the offensive zone, that shot goes way high and wide. There's a lot of passes have gone through, and on another day, another team, those ground balls get picked up, and Fairfield don't get those looks. Laponer trying to drive crease. Great work by Bay to shut her down, and Harrell knocks it loose. You have to say this. In that 1v1, I highlighted the top between Kayla Bay and Grace Laponer. Laponer's got her goals, but Bay has been sensational this afternoon. Not going to light up the stat sheet. In fact, doesn't have anything on her in terms of a ground ball, cause, turnover, but she's kept Laponer quiet for the most part. Does commit the foul, however. A free position to come with 5:20 left in this third period. And Laura Field now going to voice her disapproval to Jen Holland over there, one of the officials on the far side. Laura Field, who's been in this sport for, well, really as long as she can remember. Of course, an outstanding goalie at Princeton. 13th total season on the coaching staff at Fairfield. Number of years as an assistant. And then taking the head job after Mike Waldvogel retired from head coaching duties. Coach Field also an assistant and one-year interim head coach at Yale. She has said her piece. Jen Holland will not change it. And a free position coming for Grace Laponer, who puts it wide. Backup will stay with Manhattan, however. Reagan Mullins. Another free position. Now Juliana Iovine will draw it. Iovine, a good goal scorer in her own right with 20 on the season, though this is not going to be free position. This is going to be from the 12-meter. Another double comes flying in. Laponer lost the handle of it, and that's due to the ball-hawking nature of both Caroline Mangan and Kayla Bay. The cause turnover will have to go to Bay on that one, as she did everything right. However, good work by Mullins to give Lindsey Barnes something to think about. But the Fairfield team haven't had a blemish on the clearing game. They're 20 for 20. This quarter has only had 2 goals in it, both coming from Fairfield inside the first 3 minutes played. Manhattan took a timeout after Toledo got one at 12:11 left. They have not had a team score since then. Olivia Duty trying to roll the crease, and Duty gets fouled. Free position opportunity coming for the Stags. Again, just 1 of 4 on the day from the 8-meter. That came from Kelly Horning. That was the Stags' first goal of the afternoon. Make it 1-1. Duty. Save Gambardella. Certainly this game and the scoreline not the fault to the Manhattan goalie. She has stopped 9. And you'd expect that a player that's amongst the leaders in every goalie stat, first in goals against at 11.85, averages 8 1/4 saves per game. She's over that now with 9. So she has done her job. It's just the inefficiency of the Jasper offense that has not given her a positive result. And now with 3:20 left in this quarter and one more after that of 15 minutes, not a whole lot of time to try and go get yourself an 8-goal, erase an 8-goal margin. And Bay once again closing down the angles. And Rigolizzo knocks away that pass. Empty stick check foul goes against Fairfield through that sea of humanity. Someone will get whistled for it. But Fairfield have done everything today to close down all the key attackers for the Jaspers. I think there's going to be a foul off the ball here. Sophie Grazioli gets whistled for it. Kenzie Kowitz, who had a free position earlier, will have another look here. There are 25 seconds left. Kowitz puts it wide. That one kept in as well, a bit inadvertently there. Down to 18 seconds on the clock. Down to 10 on the shot clock here. Double team coming, and it's a wild pass from Laponer. 6 seconds left. Ivan's just got to put this on goal with 3, with 2, and it's another shot clock violation. You can go ahead and probably say it right now. For 43 minutes of this game, this has been a defensive masterclass from Fairfield. Yes, the inefficiencies from Manhattan is one thing in terms of 12 shots on the day and 2 goals, but Fairfield have been stifling. And when you're facing the best defense in the team against Manhattan, you know you've got to limit the chances from the Jaspers to keep yourself in it. They've done that. They haven't been phenomenal on offense. Good enough, though, on the day with the 10. And the Stags almost are now in game management mode. Never say that with 15 minutes to go, of course, but it seems like it the way that this has been played today. Toludo mishandling that pass. Amanda Kozak, who's got a hat trick today, tries to flip it, but she misfires, so she'll go with duty at X. Low to high to Greffin, set that off the pipe. I think actually the goalie Gambardella gets a piece of it onto the post. The Fairfield with the reload. They can't see the quarter out. There's a 7-second differential between game and shot clock. But what this game has had about 12 minutes or so worth of no goals. Fairfield looking to try and break that here. Duty has to roll dodge against our own teammate. 25 seconds on the shot clock. Now Kelly Horning dodging a pair. Still Horning. Flips it off. Chance for Harrell. Dodges. Oh, she wanted to let that go. That's where Riley Harrell gets so dangerous when she gets a chance to be creative using that quick speed that she has, but she does have a chance on free position. Already missing on one. Harrell looking for her first point of the day. And Gambardella read that perfectly. Ashley Gambardella now up to 10 saves. That pass batted down, though, by Greffenstedt. But Gambardella again with a stop. And she's looking at the referee to say, where was some sort of call that didn't come? And that will do it for this third quarter. Well, Fairfield, as the horn will come, Fairfield being a little bit more ruthless on that front. They may be up by a 9 or 10 for that matter, but the brilliance of Ashley Gambardella, who's now up to 10 saves, keeping her team in it for the moment, but it's the Stags who lead by 8.
So people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
The BK $5 Your Way meal is here to make your choice easy and so tasty. Go straight to the Double Whopper Junior with piping hot small fries, 4-piece crispy nuggets, and a refreshing small drink. Can you believe you get all this for only $5? The $5 Your Way meal, only at Burger King.
Meet Renee, bank manager and mother. But when she gets on her bike, she becomes Rebel Renee. Rebel Renee isn't about greasing some palms to get things done. And she rides with Geico because she'd never rebel against great service. Geico, savings and service for both your sides.
15 minutes left to go here at Rafferty Stadium. Manhattan's upcoming schedule looks like this. A road trip to finish out the year on Sunday at Niagara, which will be the last game of the 2022 regular season in the MAC. Manhattan hoping that they're going to be in that MAC championship. They know at minimum if they do make it that they're going to be playing in that quarterfinal round, which will be slated for April 30th, 1 week from this coming Saturday. For those two, it's not been a day for them. Number 10, Grace Laponer with both goals for the Jaspers, and the second high scorer, Megan Rodino, wearing 22 in green with 0, and really not much to show for in terms of looks. She has an assist, but it has been a tough afternoon for the Jasper offense. Everywhere else also has 1 quarter to play, or actually thereabout. Maris is up their lead to 2 against Canisius, which is a massive boost for Fairfield. Because then it would mean if this result stays and that Maris-Canisius result stays, it's winner take all in terms of a quarterfinal hosting bid. Manhattan are getting help though. Iona, they've cut into the deficit a little bit against Quinnipiac, but they trail 8-5 over New Rochelle. But Manhattan trying to launch what would be the counter of the season in MAC women's lacrosse and try and erase an 8-goal deficit against Fairfield. Though you always know with this Manhattan team, if you get Laponer and Rodino going, you might have something there. Just the Fairfield defense for 45 minutes is not giving up anything. Laponer, though, rounds the edge, still goes on and scores. And there's the start as Grace Laponer wraps up her hat trick. And there's kind of that leader for you in Laponer in the center of your picture, talking to her team, calming them down, saying, all right, we don't think about the deficit. We think about just winning each possession, 1 goal at a time. And when you get your leader doing the job, certainly can start that trend. Grace now 54 goals on the season. She's now got 21 in league play. This is Manhattan's 7th game in league action, so you do the math, that's good for 3 goals a game. Plus she'd be 1 assist away from averaging 3 goals and 1 assist per league game. Claire McCooey, number 15, just won her first draw control since the early stages of this game to start this quarter. And another one won by Reagan Mullins. So back-to-back draw control wins, but Caroline Mangan says enough with that. What a cause turnover there by Mangan, one of the senior leaders in defense. Just knocked that one away. And Fairfield, the long pass doesn't connect with Greffenstedt. Again, if there is a knock, and this is a bit of a knock on Fairfield today, it's the passing game not been crisp. There's been plenty of these moments as a big collision. Sees now an opportunity for Fairfield, though. It's 2-on-3 at the moment, so they're not going to rush. The passing has not been good. That is a good pass, though, to Maggie Fort, who puts it home. Fairfield restore their 8-goal lead, and for Fort, that is her 2nd of the afternoon. Fort, who had 8 goals in 10 games played. She's played in just about every one of Fairfield's 15 on the season. She's now at 11 goals this year.
Assist to number 14, Olivia Duty. That's Fort from
Duty picks up another helper. That's now a 4-assist game for her, along with 1 goal. Up to 22 helpers on the year. Well, this is very much a very different team than we saw from Fairfield last time that they're here against Monmouth. Played competitively right to the end to overtime against Niagara. But sometimes you have to look for a lift, a little bit of motivation to get you over the line. And today the Stags have got it. Not just one player sticking out, it's a number of players that are doing the job. By the way, that assist there for Duty puts her into a tie for 8th with now 5 other players for most assists in a season. Kathleen Holzman, Megan Graham most recently doing it. Holzman in 2018, Graham in 2019 with 22 assists. The program record by Brenna Connolly in 2018, she had 42 assists that year. But Duty a couple assists away maybe from a top 4. And Fairfield get it across after a brief delay. Low to high, looking for Horning, goes all the way through. Fairfield with hat tricks each by Elizabeth Toledo, Amanda Kozak, Maggie Fort with 2. All 3 of those players did not start this game. Come on as impact subs. Fort going to stay out here in this sequence. Duty continues to survey. Down to 30 on the shot clock. Not going to attack on our own here. Goes back to Toledo. In the middle for Greffenstedt, but too tall. No, they're going to say a push. Free position coming for Ellie Greffenstedt. They reset the shot clock accidentally. Now put it back to 21 here. Greffenstedt with a goal and assist on 6 shots, but she's been influential all over the field with 2 ground balls and caused turnovers. Greffenstedt passes to Kozak, returns to Fort, who scores! Oh, you could say that's right from practice there. Tic-tac-toe passing in Fairfield, now up by 9. Maggie Fort wrapping up her hat trick. This is what you call a set piece here. No, Kozak's going to be coming from GLE, and then Fort going to drift to the crease. A beautiful find. Give Kozak her 4th point of the day. And that's 9 of Fairfield's 12 goals coming from Toledo, Kozak, and Fort. And Fairfield this season had running clock on 2 separate occasions in advantage. No, 3, excuse me. Had it against Lafayette back on March the 9th, and Quinnipiac and Marist. The Marist and Quinnipiac game back-to-back earlier this month. Didn't think we'd be getting here today. Again, that's a testament, though, to how strong Fairfield have been on the defensive side, and then finishing the opportunities when presented on the offense. Also, it helps when the draw control game has been at its best. However, McCooey comes away with it. And even when they lose draws Fairfield, you see there's always 2 bodies trying to knock back the ball. It's a foul, though, against Kelly Horning. Reagan Mullins will start it up. And now for Manhattan here, you know, it's difficult to really try and find positives for this one, but knowing that you're going to be playing the league leaders coming on Sunday, who obviously have a game before that, Niagara, they play Siena, but you want to take something positive to finish this game off. run a couple of solid offensive sets, get a couple stops defensively as well. That shot goes wide of the mark. Wild take from Iovine. But knowing now that Niagara game may be a must-win for Manhattan, you got to get something from it. As Kayla Bay is not happy with that decision from the official. It's not going to be a free position, but off the hash mark for the lone goal scorer for Manhattan College, that's Grace Laponer. Scored all three. Laponer drives at the crease and will do it again. Laura Field barking from across the way, the Fairfield head coach saying that the shot was released. And it's going to be taken from the same spot. .26 now on the shot clock for Manhattan College. Laponer passes in the middle, and that one goes in. Megan Rodino gets the goal. A good sign of sportsmanship between her and Mangan as the two collided. But the first player with the surname not Laponer getting a goal. Rodino, her 35th of the season. And Manhattan, a good executed play off the, well, not a free position, but from the hash mark. Let's see again if the Jaspers can build on it here. 10:49 left to go in the fourth. Quinnipiac have upped their lead against Iona to 3. Quinnipiac are still playing for something, by the way. I know they're 8th at 1-5, but they host Monmouth on Saturday. Monmouth's last regular season women's lacrosse game in the MAC before they move to pastures new in the CAA. Quinnipiac might want to spoil that party. And also, that would give perhaps the Bobcats an outside chance at the last playoff spot. Technically, you could have a four-way tie. Excuse me, no, a three-way tie at 5 losses for the last playoff spot. Which would be Manhattan, Iona, and Quinnipiac. And that's if Quinnipiac loses all 2 today and on Sunday. Iona, if they can't come back, be 1-1. And Quinnipiac wins both of their games. And good luck on the tiebreaker scenarios. Try and figure that one out. Neither team right now knowing of what's happening elsewhere. Never bet against technology. If someone has a cell phone on the sideline, one of the coaches that being, not the players of course, checking in on scores. Kozak not going to release from the hash mark. She'll reset. They come up on 10 minutes left to go in this final quarter. Libby Rowe draws the double team. Remember, it took Fairfield a while in that first period to figure out how to break down the swarming defense that Manhattan puts together. Lots of doubles in their zone defense. Late slides, great communication, but once it started rolling for the Stags, it kept going. Going to be a foul against Rosica. Clock keeps running, but not the shot clock. Greffenstedt. Now to Riley Harrell. Long distance shot, but right at the goalie, and I think Harrell a bit lucky there, not for a dangerous release as Jennifer McPherson had her stick go flying. Kind of took the shot as well in the midsection. That would be the release from Harrell. Been a difficult day for Riley offensively. 4 shots, I should say. No goals, no points. But she's found other ways to impact the game. At least one ground ball caused turnover and draw control. And now the referee's going to stop play here after Lindsey Barnes wasn't able to be allowed the restart. A warning been issued to Rodino. Fairfield, though, not minding all that much. They've only failed once on 24 clears. The Stags clear on average at 89%, third best in the conference. They've really had minimal issues. Meanwhile, the Jaspers have failed on 8 of their 24 occasions. Rowe flips it to Ludo. It's on a 5-point day. Looking for more. Save Gambardella. It's batted over the bar. Duty will just survey and slow it down. The reflexes there, both from Gambardella on the save, and then Toledo batting the second one out of the air. Kelly Horning. Horning with a goal and assist, but again, like so many others, finding other ways to impact the game. Horning with 3 caused turnovers and draw controls. Duty, great roll dodge, and she draws the foul. She collided with Gianna Skoronsky. No, they're going to say offensive foul. It's an offensive foul. Skoronsky causing the turnover. And we go the other way, though. Skoronsky's still trying to shake that one off. Still kind of flexing the ankle. And the left one. Manhattan with halfway left in this fourth quarter. And trying to end on a positive here and get a couple of goals back. Grace Laponer, who's been on all 4 goals today, scoring 3 and assisting on the other. Pass in the middle goes all the way through. Manhattan will keep it alive, though. Rodino with the ground ball. Now Laponer is isolated on the 1v1. But she elects to go to X. As Kayla Bay has done really well in that matchup. Sure, Laponer's gotten her 3 goals, but everything has been solid elsewhere. We're under 40 seconds here in the shot clock. Now Ashley Bonich. Not given an inch by Sophie Grazioli. Rigolizzo tried to jump that route, and a foul will be called as Mangan on the cover. She can't believe it, but it will be a free position for Juliana Iovine. Just 2 of 13 on free position shots coming into today. Iovine dodges, saved by Collins. Well, she hasn't been called on for much today, Casey Collins, but that is her 4th save. And just doing the job. Sometimes you have to just stand there and come up with the saves when you have to. None have really been spectacular, but they've been timely. Especially early on the 3rd quarter, a free position when Manhattan had a chance to try and get some momentum back. Got to stop. The pass in the middle, and that one goes in. Sarah Boucher with the goal. And Fairfield loving that one as Boucher doesn't get a whole lot of time. We'll talk about more of that in a moment as we have a media break with 5:59 left. Stags lead 13-4. Back in a moment from Rafferty Stadium.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
The BK $5 Your Way meal is here to make your choice easy and so tasty. Go straight to the Double Whopper Junior with piping hot small fries, 4-piece crispy nuggets, and a refreshing small drink. Can you believe you get all this for only $5? The $5 Your Way meal, only at Burger King.
I love my new home, but it might be too Victorian.
Gosh, interesting hemline on this. Pounds?
At least Geico makes bundling my home and car insurance easy. I save so much.
Pardon me, Your Grace.
Oh, just call me Grace.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
Fairfield have gotten production from the bench all day. I don't think Sarah Boucher was expected to be in and amongst the goals, but there she is, the sophomore from Stony Brook, New York, getting her first career goal. And, well, she's the one that actually starts running around with that Fairfield Lacrosse flag anytime a goal scored. Someone's going to have to pick up those duties, and she's in on it. 5:59 left to go here in this fourth quarter. As players take wild swings at that draw control, but Manhattan come up with it. Megan Rodino and Grace Laponer playing 1 and 2. Well, those are the moments that coaches love to get when they get the reaction from their bench players, from the one of their own almost. As that one goes in, Rodino gets her second of the afternoon. As Rodino, a player again who always expected to be in and amongst it with the goals. Laponer with yet another point. She has been in on all 5 goals today, scoring the first 3 for Manhattan, then assisting on the last 2. But yeah, when the bench players, the ones that don't really see a lot of time, get in and amongst it, that gets everybody fired up. And Laura Field has always told me that not only do the bench have a lot of roles, the communication has to be there, and obviously the ones that just fire everybody up, but they put in the hard miles in practice just as every other player. They just don't get the recognition. They get it internally, but when they get the chance to execute in a game, it means the world to everybody. And that's what Boucher provided right there a couple of minutes ago with Fairfield's 13th goal. Fairfield, not as healthy of an advantage as it was earlier on the draws. It's now gotten to 13, now make it 14-8 as Maggie Fort wins 1 for Fairfield. But it was that early dominance where the Stags won 7 straight to begin this game that set the tone. Boucher will stay in on this offensive set for Fairfield as Lorfield's starting to run some players out there, getting a few minutes. And Fairfield, they had the first round bye, so they have played 2 games every week for 4 straight weeks. So the rest is required as Maggie Fort gets another one. It's a big day for Maggie Fort, her 4th goal of the afternoon. That one just, again, when you're in confidence and when you're getting the looks that you want in the system, the game slows down for you. And that's what she's had here today. And this is the first time in Maggie Fort's career that she has had a 4-goal game. She's had a handful of hat tricks, including against Monmouth the last time Fairfield were here a week ago. The Stags, you could say the result has been pretty much locked and secure for quite a while, but it's a big part of the players that came in off the bench. Now, Toledo, Kozak, and Fort, those are players that expected to get minutes. They just don't start games, but they're the rotational players in. But when 11 of the team's 14 goals have come from players that didn't start, everyone's going to be fired up about that. As Katie Bergen has checked in for the first time for Fairfield. She was on the draw circle there. Yeah, I'm starting to see on the Fairfield bench that a number of players are starting to get loose down off to our right, which is a bit of a scorekeeper's nightmare trying to figure out who's coming on late stages. Manhattan are also starting to roll the bench a bit here as that shot from Caroline D'Agostino not finding the mark. D'Agostino plays pretty regularly. This is her 12th game of the season. Hasn't been factored a whole lot. D'Agostino shot over the mark. A deflection on the way through. I think Bergen got a piece of that. 35 seconds on the shot clock. D'Agostino dodging off to her right. Out of 20 seconds. Bonich got the shot off. Are they going to count it? They will. Yeah, the whistle did not hinder the shot, and it's a good goal for Ashley Bonich, and that's probably a good sign for her as well, because that's the first goal that she has scored in league play. It's been over a month since she scored against LIU back on March the 19th. And it's her 5th of the season. It's a good one. Put it right over the top of Collins. Marist still maintaining their 2-goal lead against Canisius. Quinnipiac up by 4 against Iona. And that Marist-Canisius scoreline, if it holds out, actually Marist just scored a 10th, so they're up by 3. So that means it's going to be Canisius and Fairfield on Saturday at noon. We'll have it for you right here at Rafferty Stadium. And that's going to be the one that's going to determine who will be the 4 seed and who's going to host a quarterfinal game. Fairfield actually hosted a quarterfinal game in the first of their 3 straight MAC tournament championships in 2018. They were the 3 seed, knocking off Iona comfortably. The Stags would love themselves one more home game. Of course, a team that has been so strong at home at Rafferty Stadium since this facility opened in 2015 as that shot gets misfired. 41, soon to be 42 and 22 against all opponents. Stags looking for the successful clear, and they'll get that. As Haley Burns got it across. That pass stooping down to be picked up by Cameron Dara, number 10. Good to see Dara back on the field, who suffered an injury earlier on the season. Senior, just her 4th game played. Boucher flips it in front for Greffenstedt, who puts it wide. Foul off the ball. Zariana Lavelle will keep it going. Lavelle, a great story last year. At 21 points, or 21 goals, 27 total points was key for the Stags down the stretch. Just hasn't seen as much time this year. Lavelle driving through, just puts it over the bar. It's a good look, actually, there for the senior. Stop the clock with 20 seconds left because an extra ball came on the field. And a turnover from Fairfield. Good pursuit of the ball by Leota. She forces it. Manhattan perhaps one more chance to counter as Olivia Crothers, number 26, driving ahead. Crothers, oh, she lost out. Mangan knocked it away and eventually goes to Casey Collins. Might have been a shot there, actually, from Laponer, who was always going wide. And that pretty much will do it. Yeah, not going to be enough time to get another shot off here, at least if Fairfield wants to hold. As we're under a minute to go. Well, Fairfield were looking for that performance to kind of turn things. They've gotten it here today. Their defense, probably the best it's been all year. In fact, this is going to be the lowest amount of goals that they have given up, even if they give up one more. They allowed 8 to Holy Cross on the opening day. They also gave up 9 to Quinnipiac and Hofstra on the road in a 9-5 loss. The Stags have forced 25 turnovers total. They've caused 17 of them. Manhattan going to have to go back to the drawing board here, knowing that they've got one more game left in the regular season. It's still in their hands to try and get a postseason spot, but it's going to be a difficult test on Sunday against the Purple Eagles. Laponer will throw it out in front. Backhanded shot saved by Collins, and that will do it. Casey Collins with her 5th save, and the horn will sound. The Stags a convincing win at home by 14 goals to 6. It was the bench again that got things going. A 3-goal, 3-assist day for Elizabeth Toludo, a 4-goal day for Maggie Fort, 3 goals and assists for Amanda Kozak, and Olivia Duty with a goal and 4 assists to cap off the main scores. For Manhattan, 3 goals, 2 assists for Grace Laponer. She's only got a couple of more to get before setting the program's single-season record, and 2 goals and assists for Megan Rodino. The loss to Ashley Gambardella, who stopped 13, one off her season best, and Casey Collins with 5. Take a look at the final stats for you, and again, it's about as solid as you can ask for Fairfield, dominating every facet of the game. Took them a while to get going. Their first goal didn't come for a fair few minutes into the game. They started rolling, though, and they never looked back. Again, Fairfield one more home game on Saturday against Canisius. Manhattan on Sunday away to Niagara. Thanks for joining us here and watching some MAC Women's Lacrosse on ESPN+. I'm JJ Duke saying so long from Rafferty Stadium, where your final score is Fairfield 14, Manhattan 6. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. We will see you on Saturday for Fairfield Lacrosse. But until then, goodbye for now.